from a routine search for gold to uncover a terrifying mystery. Parker Schnabel dug deeper than he ever should have, and what he found wasn't just treasure but a dark secret that no one was prepared for. It all started like any other day of mining. Parker and his team were out in the wild chasing the dream of striking it rich. They had heard rumors about an old forgotten mine that had been left untouched for years. The prospect of discovering gold wasn't new to them, but the idea of finding an abandoned mine, still full of treasure, was a rare opportunity. As soon as they started digging, it was clear they were in for something big. Thick veins of gold began to appear, sparkling in the dim light of their headlamps. It wasn't just a little gold, either. They were pulling out huge chunks. The crew worked fast, pulling out over 100 grams of gold in just a few hours. This was a jackpot that felt too good to be true, like a treasure hidden just for them. But as they went deeper, things started to feel odd. It wasn't just the gold that caught their attention. There were strange markings on the walls, old tools scattered around, and signs that someone had been there long before them. It was as if the mine had been left in a hurry, and no one knew why. In here, shut up, I'm dead serious, don't be stupid. This is crazy. I don't really like being in here, Dan. Something wasn't right. Parker's mind raced. Who had been here? Why did they leave all this gold behind? And more importantly, why had this mine been abandoned in the first place? The crew wasn't just dealing with gold anymore. They were dealing with a mystery that didn't have easy answers. The deeper they dug, the stranger things became. They found artifacts buried alongside the gold, odd tools and marks that didn't match anything they knew about the area. These were signs of something much older. Parker and his team were starting to uncover something that had been hidden for far longer than they imagined. As they continued to dig, the ground around them seemed to become more unstable. The walls of the mine creaked and cracked as if warning them to stop, but Parker couldn't stop now. They were on the verge of something huge. The air felt charged, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they were getting closer to uncovering a dark secret. But they weren't alone in their quest for gold. Another miner was working nearby, and there was pressure to dig deep enough to hit the bedrock. The competition was fierce. Everyone was hoping to strike it rich, but no one knew how much gold, if any, would be waiting for them. Mining for gold was always a gamble. You could find nothing, or you could find a fortune. Parker knew that better than anyone. He had been through highs and lows in the business. But this mine, it felt different. Waiting to stick my head in a hole that has some massive spiders in it, and I'm going to freak out. Are we looking for gold? You've forgotten about the gold. You're more interested. There's something dead. What is that? This wasn't just another gamble. This was the real deal. Finally, after days of digging, they hit the bedrock. The moment of truth had arrived. This was the layer that would either make or break their season. And there it was, more gold than they had ever expected. The mine was yielding far more than they had anticipated. It was more gold than any mine in the area had produced in years. But something else came to light as well. Along with the gold, they uncovered strange artifacts, things that didn't belong to any known mining operation. These were clues to something ancient, something that had been buried for centuries. The real question was who had left these artifacts behind and why. Now Parker faced a choice. He could take the gold and walk away, leaving the mine's secrets buried forever, or he could risk everything to uncover the truth. The deeper they dug, the more dangerous it became. The ground was unstable. The walls cracked more with each passing day, and the risks were growing. The team was divided. Some wanted to report the find to historians and archaeologists, wanting to hand over the incredible discovery to experts who could study it. Others, however, were hungry for more. They didn't just want the gold, they wanted to uncover every mystery this mine held. Parker was torn. He was a gold miner at heart, but the weight of what they had uncovered was heavy. He knew they were on the edge of something far bigger than just a gold rush. It was a decision that could change everything. Then the mine began to fight back. As they dug deeper, the ancient supports in the tunnels began to give way. The mine wasn't built for modern-day excavation. The cracks in the walls grew larger, and the air was filled with dust and debris they had been pushing their luck, and now the mine was showing them just how dangerous it could be. Suddenly, the ground gave way, sealing off part of their path and trapping them in a race against time. The collapse forced them to rethink their entire approach. They were no longer just digging for gold, they were fighting to survive. As the weeks went by, something extraordinary happened. Just when they thought they had reached the end, they hit something unexpected, a sealed-off chamber. It had been untouched for who knows how long, and when they opened it, what they found inside was beyond anything they had ever imagined. The chamber wasn't just filled with gold, it was filled with relics, ancient tools, strange symbols, and items that didn't belong to any known civilization. They were holding pieces of history that had been buried for centuries. This wasn't just a gold mine, this was a time capsule, and Parker now knew he had a huge decision to make at this moment. Parker realized the true scale of what they had uncovered. This wasn't just about striking it rich, this was about uncovering a secret that had been buried by time itself. The gold was important, yes, but the relics and the mystery of the mine were something else entirely. They were standing on the edge of history. Some of the crew wanted to stop, take what they had found, and hand it over to the authorities. Others wanted to keep digging to see just how deep the mystery went. The tension between the crew members was thick. Every day they spent in the mine felt like a race against time. They were pushing their luck with every ounce of gold they pulled out, but they were also inching closer to revealing something that could rewrite history. In the end, Parker had to make a choice. Would he risk everything to uncover the truth buried in the depths of the mine, or would he take the gold and walk away, leaving the secrets of the past behind? It wasn't an easy decision. The more they dug, the more dangerous things became, but Parker knew that this wasn't just a mining operation anymore. It was an adventure, one that would test not only his skills as a miner, but his ability to lead his team through an unknown ancient mystery. Parker's heart pounded in his chest. They were walking into something that had been waiting for them, a secret buried for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. Every instinct in Parker's body screamed at him to stop, to turn back before it was too late. But gold fever is a powerful thing. It drives men to chase after things that are better left buried. Parker couldn't turn back now. As they stepped deeper into the passage, the walls seemed to whisper in ways that unsettled even the most hardened members of the crew. This wasn't just another mine, it was a relic, a forgotten part of history waiting to be uncovered. Parker's crew followed closely behind, their nervous glances exchanged in the flickering light of their headlamps. They had all been in dangerous digs before, but this was different. There were no historical records, no maps, no hints that this place even existed. This mine had been lost to time. Then they saw them. More markings, this time etched into the stone walls. These weren't just minor initials or simple tally marks. These were complicated designs, patterns, and symbols far too sophisticated for the era they thought they were in. Someone had been here before, but they weren't looking for gold. The chamber ahead loomed like a secret waiting to be unearthed. With one last deep breath, Parker pressed forward. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of forgotten history filled his nostrils. They stepped over broken planks, the light from their headlamps flickering against something metallic in the distance. What they found wasn't just another pile of gold, it was a rusted door, a slab of iron that didn't belong. The markings on it were unlike anything they had seen before, and Parker knew they had to open it. His team waited anxiously, and he made his choice. They were going through that door no matter what. With a final screech, the door opened, revealing a passage carved into stone. It wasn't just mine anymore, it was something ancient, something buried for a reason. As Parker walked deeper, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of discovering something much bigger than